The best way to understand a budget is to kind of go through the motions and fill one out. So this template is available for free in Excel, and I will link to the place where you can get it. And so let's just walk through the major parts of this budget, and I think that will help illustrate exactly why a budget is important and what the major parts of it are. So, as the title states here, this is a monthly budget. So, there are a couple of uh, starting points here. So, we're going to start with the income. So, you notice that there's two categories of income here. One is the projected, meaning how much you're expecting to earn. And then at the end of the month, you can actually put in what your actual earnings are. And so for most people that earn like a paycheck, the projected and actual will probably be the same if you're just getting a paycheck that's kind of the same every month. So let's just go through this. So let's assume income one is your paycheck. An extra income we can say is rental, investment, etc. And so we know just from experience that we make $4,300, and this is the net amount, not the gross amount, meaning this is the amount you actually get deposited into your bank account from your paycheck. It's not the amount pre-tax and pre-deductions. So this is a budget is a pure cash system. It's cash coming in and cash coming out, and then you see what the difference is. So we'll start with a projected of 4,300, and let's say we expect that our rental income and investment income, etc., is going to be another 1,300. And so you see here the Excel sheet is there's a formula here to sum these two, so it kind of does it automatically. And so let's not worry about the actual right now. Let's just go down to the expenses and start filling out what the projected costs are. So it kind of has some of these done for us already. So let's say our actual rent is 1,500. Phone, that sounds reasonable. Electricity, let's say it's 60. Gas, let's say it's winter time, so we're gonna maybe spend more on gas. So let's say it's 100. Cable, garbage. Okay, so you have all these under the category of housing, and I'm doing the projected cost here. Okay, so this is at the beginning of the month, or you can even do, a monthly budget for the whole year up front, and then as you go, you can track each month as they come to see how you did. But anyways, we're just working on projected. This is how much we think we're gonna uh, need for these various expenses. And so actually one thing we can add here, let's say this is for January 2023. Okay, so this is the personal monthly budget for January 2023. And then, if we wanted to do another one, we could just copy this and we can have this for February. And then you can just keep doing this for the whole year and just, create this is one way you could kind of track your monthly expenses. And so your projected costs are here. Transportation, this is another big expense category. So let's say you have a $500 car payment per month. Bus, we're not going to take. Insurance, let's say that's another 150 per month. Licensing, which is, registration, you can call it. I think that's around uh, $200 a year. So let's call it $20 a month. Fuel, let's say we spend $300 on gas. Maintenance, 50. Other, let's say there's no other. And so we have not yet filled in actual yet, because we do this kind of at the end of the month. Um, so let's just keep going with the projected. So insurance, Home insurance, let's say that's $100. Health insurance, $150. Life insurance, I don't have any. No other insurance. Let's say you have um, liability insurance of $50. Groceries, this is obviously another big expense category. And so you see it's broken out into two different sections here of groceries, dining out, and you could even add another row here. Let's call this subscription food. So let's say you order um, those boxes, of vegetables that they send you. So groceries, you can say is $500. Dining out, let's say you spend another 200, and then you have some subscription, you know, uh, some subscription service for food, and you spend another 100, and then other, let's just say zero. Pets, you can do the same. Let's just put in some numbers here. Personal care. So this is different than your health insurance, which we already covered here. So make sure you're not double counting. So this is just out of pocket medical stuff. So let's just say we expect to spend 50. Clothing, let's say we expect to spend 200 a month. Dry cleaning. Okay, so this is kind of, and of course you can add more rows here if you have other expenses that are not covered and you want to kind of track them over time. So entertainment, this is kind of dated now. Let's say this is streaming services. Let's change it. So let's say you have Netflix and you have a couple other ones. So you spend, and let's say you go to the movies a couple times a month. Okay, let's say you like going to basketball games. So, in this month you're expected to go to a couple games. Okay, so loans. Let's say I have some student debt and the payment is, I don't know, $500 a month. Okay, so and the rest of the stuff, not everyone has everything here. So let's just keep it simple. Let's say we have alimony. Alimony, we were a divorcee. We got, some child support payments or something. So another, let's call it 300 a month. Okay, so now we've gone through and we've put in all our projected costs here. So it's 5,419. Luckily, it is less than our projected monthly income because if it was more than, then we'd be in a little trouble. We wouldn't be saving anything. So you can see here, this is kind of the difference. This is taking the projected monthly income minus the projected costs. And you see here you only have around $180 of surplus that you're projecting. And so now at the end of the month you can fill in your actual. So let's say this is the same. Let's say we made a little more on our investment rental income. So we projected 1,300, but we actually made 1,500. And then we can go through here and just fill all this stuff out. Okay, so I went through and filled out all this stuff. You can see that the formulas in the sheet, sorry, yes, they do. So you see here the insurance, the actual and projected were the same, so there's no difference. But in the food category, we see that, for example, groceries, we ended up spending more on groceries than we projected. So there's a negative difference here. And so this spreadsheet will capture all the differences between your actual and projected. And then it summarizes it here. So it looks like we underspent, meaning our expenses were lower than what we projected by $948. And so when we go back up here to the summary, we see that our actual balance, meaning the actual income minus expenses, was 1,300. And so we did better than our budget by this amount here, which is the difference between the actual balance minus the projected balance. So the problem with this is that you have to actually manually go through and populate these actuals, which can be time consuming. But hopefully this walkthrough gave you a better idea of what a budget is and how to fill it out and why it's useful. Just to emphasize, we can basically, at the end of the year, let's say we had a budget for each month, we can look and do some analysis and see which categories we were spending more on consistently or less, and we can potentially alter our budget to try to cut back on certain expenses and certain categories so that we can maximize basically this balance, right? We want to try to save as much as we can and achieve our financial goals. So by tweaking the budget here and tracking, we can see what is realistically possible with kind of our lifestyle and our income and expenses, and see where we can save, see where we maybe have to change the budget and loosen up a little bit. And so this kind of planning process will give you some insight into where your money is coming and going, and hopefully optimize that to kind of achieve your financial goals.